Beautiful, beautiful. And it looks like we are live right now, my man. All right, cool. John, what's up?
What's
How are we
going
doing
on?
today? All right, hey, everybody. Welcome to Red Pill Smash Bros. My name is Corey, and this is John Fitch. John, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, I'm a MMA fighter. I've been fighting professionally for about 17 years. I've fought some of the best guys out there, won world championships, uh, traveled to exotic places all over the world, met the people that live there, and fought them.
Hell yeah.
I kind of came to this red pill stuff a couple years ago. My marriage ended, and I would kind of classify myself from all the stuff I've learned as like a blue pilled alpha, I guess. Um, and it was just the process of the divorce really opened my eyes to kind of how things are leveraged against men. I have a couple sons. I want to make sure I know as much about what's going on in the real world as opposed to the world we want to live in. And I just kind of went down this rabbit hole, and there's a lot of things I kind of already knew, but just learning some of the things, just kind of learning the biology of human interactions has explained a lot, and it's helped me navigate myself into a much happier place where I'm in a position to be much more successful, and things have just been clicking and going on really well since I kind of accepted there's certain things that are just inevitable truths, and you kind of just process that and move forward.
Absolutely. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. So, hey, everybody, my name is Corey Capella. I am a former U.S. Marine. I was raised on the East Coast to a pretty traditional upbringing. That traditional upbringing is something that I've learned to deduce is a very blue pill mentality, right? I was raised, women are sugar and spice and everything nice. I was raised that men must hold doors. I was raised that women are always right, men are wrong. Pretty much everything that you see within, what the media is telling men today, that we're dumb, that women are smart. Even in school, I was told that I had to sit still, I couldn't do anything, and that I was annoying for being a boy. Um, Obviously, that caused me to end up joining the military, where I ended up going to war in Afghanistan, getting blown up, watching some friends die, coming back, opening up my own CrossFit gym, only to find out that everything that I had learned about myself was so low value that no one valued me and I didn't even value myself. Ended up with PTSD and falling apart completely. From that PTSD, I decided to go down and begin my journey with entheogenic medicines such as ayahuasca, iboga, peyote, and a few other things. And from that, I was able to actually remove myself from my own self-loathing and learn my own true power. And then on top of pretty much all the dynamics that are structuring the world right now, all the stories. And one of the biggest things is the red pill just came smashing into my life and was like, hey man, here's some serious truths. You need to either invest into it, or you can go down the way that everybody else does and just live a sad and lonely life. So that's me, and that's what I'm here to do. What I'm trying to do in life, and I think this is something that John's looking to do as well, is we're trying to grow masculine communities. So John's in San Francisco. I'm in the San Diego area. I myself personally have a men's group here in San Diego, but I'm looking to grow this a little bit further, and that's what John's looking to do too as well. So what we're here today to do, and we're going to try to continue this as well, is to start having some serious conversations about the state of our culture here in the West, and mainly the state of masculinity in our culture. We believe the foundation upon which great civilizations rest upon is masculinity, as you can see from anywhere else. And the second masculinity is touted upon as evil, or that civilization starts to turn away from it, you see a nasty decline. And it's not just a decline in civilization, it's a decline of overall happiness in general. So what we're trying to do is start to talk today about this, about how you yourself can start to change yourself, master some of the main areas in your life, and how you can start to impact society in a small way through your individual efforts. As well as John and I like to talk about smashing chicks. So what we want to be able to do is help men also understand how to master that area of their life and how to take control over, the abundance mindset of having women in their life, and how to be able to actually set up a good, proper frame. So that's what we're here to talk about today. John, in order to get this thing rolling, though, let's talk about it first. Aside from just smashing chicks and running game and all that other stuff, You know, what do you think is the biggest issue today plaguing masculinity?
Man, well, I think a lot of the younger generation has been brought up, that masculinity is a negative thing, that they haven't really had any examples of positive masculinity in their life. So you have large numbers of single moms and people being raised without fathers.
Yeah.
So, all they're hearing about masculinity is what the women tell them and what they see on TV, and that's definitely not good.
So it's masculinity through a feminine frame, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So they don't actually get a chance to witness and see what a positive masculine man is like, and what he behaves like, and how he handles himself. It's just not something that they're used to seeing.
It's absolutely 100% true. My thing that I think, though, is this. I think, and this is what I've done so many things when it comes to trying to figure out what the actual main cause of this all is, right? We can sit here and we can blame feminism, but feminism is just simply a symptom. You know what I'm saying? Feminism is a symptom of men not being men. We got to look back a little bit further generationally. Like what happened and what changed within our civilization that started to shift people away from that? And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said we just have not had good, strong male role models teaching boys how to be masculine, how to be men, right? Women, so this is one thing I noticed. When I was 12, 13 years old and I was starting to go through puberty, what did we have? We had one class in sex ed for like a week long where they're like, hey, your testicles are going to drop and they're going to get bigger and you're going to start to get hair here. And, you might start to feel a little bit like, more sexual towards the opposite sex. And then girls are like, oh, you're going to have your period and all this other stuff. The big thing in society is, especially with this feminine frame, with our fucked up school systems, is that, women become women. If that makes any sense. Women biologically can become women. They don't need really anyone to usher them through it, right? It's a physical, biological change that occurs. And
it kind of happens.
Yeah, and then, of course, exactly. And then there are plenty of women, the fucking clucking hens. They all gather around. They're like, oh, you're having your period. Oh, like, it's a physical sign. So everyone's like, oh, it's a physical sign. Okay, cool. Now it's time for us to start to, like, usher you and mentor it.
That's a good point.
When it comes to boys, go ahead.
Yeah, we've lost that that threshold where you step into the next level of your life. The Native Americans used to have Vision Quest or something.
This is exactly where I'm going with it. You
knew
exactly where I was going with it.
Like, there was something that you had to do.
It's called initiation into manhood. They would have a no-kidding initiation.
It's honestly, it used to be, it was supposed to be you turned 18 and you moved out.
Right.
That used to be what it was. You got a job, or you went to college, or went to,
I would argue with that, though. You're right. And I talk about this in my new book that's coming out, where you have to fly the coop, right? You have to fly the nest. But before that, and this is the problem with what's going on in our civilization, is we don't realize that masculinity is not something that is genetically handed down. It is something that is taught. Masculinity, if you really look at it, masculinity is a set of characteristics and behaviors that are socially acceptable of what a man is. That's what masculinity is. You can be a man, but you cannot be masculine. And that's what we're starting to see in these shells of men today, right? These what we call soy boys and cucks in the world today. It's because they were not taught what it is to be a man. That standard it's been dissipated.
Well, they were taught how to be a man through the standards of the women around them.
Exactly.
Their mothers and their teachers.
Exactly.
The majority of school teachers are women, are female.
Exactly. Yeah, and they don't have. And the thing is, and this is something we have to identify right now, is that women cannot teach men how to be men, because women cannot identify with the masculine whatsoever. They don't understand it.
It's like I couldn't teach a woman how to be a woman.
See, yes and no. I disagree.
I
disagree partly.
I can lead a woman, and hopefully that she follows.
Actually, yeah.
That she needs to.
I'll 100% agree with that direction of it too. But I couldn't teach.
I can't really teach her. I mean, you can lead, but you can't force somebody to learn.
Exactly. It's just like anytime you do try to correct a woman on her behavior or try to tell her how to be more feminine or whatever, they're always going to lash back at you, right? So it takes women to lead women and it takes men to lead men. And that's kind of where we need to go. Number one, at 12, 13 years old, we need to start initiating boys into manhood. Like, hey, the death of the boy. And you need to be ready by 18, like you just said. You need to be ready by 18 to get your ass up and get out from under mommy and daddy. And you need to go out into the real world and get your ass kicked and learn and fail and get your ass kicked again and learn and fail. You know what I'm saying?
They don't want to give up that comfort. You know, they got their own room, their own bed. You know, if they moved out, they'd have to probably split a room and have bunk beds with somebody for a while.
Yeah,
and that may just be what you have to do.
And you'd have to financially take care of yourself, and you'd have to struggle.
Yes.
You'd have to go and work a shit job and make some money, and then continue to build and continue to build and continue to build. But that's what men do, right? Women are born rich. Men are born fucking poor, right? Women are born rich because, you know, at 18 years old, a good-looking woman can go up to any guy in the world, especially if she's a virgin and she's attractive, and be like, make me your wife, I'll have babies with you. And that guy will be like, okay, sold. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hands down.
Biologically speaking, women are born with an inherent value because they can reproduce.
Right.
So, like for millions of years, just being born a woman, you already have value.
Mm-hmm.
For a man, you have to demonstrate value, or you'll be ostracized by the group.
Correct. So you have to build that shit. And that's what we're not teaching dudes to do. I don't know if there's no good men out there now that are viable candidates for them financially. Yep.
Yeah, so like a men not doing as well becomes a woman's problem because now they can't find adequate husbands because they all earn more than the men now.
Yeah. So what's the problem there? What's the fix?
So they're going to have to quit their jobs. They're going to have to quit their jobs and be okay with not earning as much money. I mean, what do you want? That's what I think. There's no turning back. Okay, so I listen to a lot of these other guys talking in this sphere, and you know, some of them they're getting a little bit blue pilled or purple pilled or whatever, because I think that they're still nostalgic about a time that used to be, but like the genie's kind of out of the bottle. You're not going to make women earn less,
right? So
like that hypergamy, unless the women decide they want to get it under control themselves, which I don't know if that's something they really want to do. I think they like the position they're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think the genie's going back in the bottle. So I think that the future is going to look a lot different. I think guys who make the decision to self-improve and be the best version of themselves and try to live life kind of like an alpha are gonna do very, very, very well. And a lot of the other guys, probably a majority of the guys, are going to do very, very poorly when it comes to women. They'll be very frustrated. But they'll have their video games and their and their cam girls to get them through.
Hell yeah. So
I think it's up to the guys out there to decide what side of that line do you want to be on.
For sure.
You know, do you want to be playing the video games and paying the Cash App girls for some nudes, or do you want to be out? Or do you want to be out going on dates, 5 nights a week with a different girl every night?
For sure. Making money, being a high value man as far as that's concerned, being in peak physical shape. Having
value, yes.
Absolutely. Phenomenal book for people to check out, which John's talking about right now in a way, is, we're at a divergence right now where the old school alpha, it's what, I forgot his name at the moment, but The Unchained Man is a phenomenal book for people to read, where he talks about the old school alpha, this 1950s nostalgic alpha of just being able to kind of be like, the tough guy in a way, or the guy that, was devoid of emotion and can just kind of like bully himself around, like that mindset that you have of what an alpha is. That's alpha 1.0. And what we're evolving into right now is a state where there's alpha 2.0s that are being bred. That 1.0 could, get a woman and be able to like hold that one woman in one place for a certain amount of time because of his alpha state. But these alpha 2.0s now are able to have numerous relationships going on at the same time, and women are just clinging to that 100%. He's financially stable and financially free. He's, he lives his life unapologetically and doesn't care about what the rest of society has to say about what he does and how he does it. So that's that's phenomenal in a way of like how we could evolve into that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think there's a lot of people who are trying to hold on to the 1950s, everybody got married, everybody had a wife, everybody had kids.
For sure.
I don't know if we can go back to that point anymore.
No, I don't think we're going to be able to go back to that either. I mean, part of my book right now, the second one that I'm writing, goes into a different kind of story of what could possibly happen, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, it could just be a pipe dream. Mm-hmm. So you and I started talking the other day on Twitter. We got a few pretty good comments about a recent video that came out of a kid. Dude, fucking balls to this kid though, to be honest with you. Skinny little kid. He's doing a prank, I guess, of going up and approaching a girl, which I think is ballsy as hell. But the prank was they were going up and approaching girls that were already with their boyfriends, right? And this one didn't turn out so well. So this guy goes up and approaches a girl with her boyfriend who's wearing fucking jean overalls, which is hilarious. And the guy didn't respond to it well. So, John, I'm going to go and switch screens real quick just to show the video, and then I'll bring you right back. But they should be able to hear you. All right, cool. So I hope that pulls up. Boom. All right, so here's the video. All right, let's replay that one again real quick just so you guys can see it. It's 8 seconds long. So, what just happened there?
So, I mean, there's absolutely no context around this, so it's kind of hard.
Sure.
It's kind of hard to say too much about.
I did a little bit of research just to kind of find out, going a little bit deeper into like the Reddit streams and different stuff like that. So what was going on was these kids were going around, they were doing like prank videos, right? Trying to make it big on Instagram and stuff like that. And they were approaching girls that had boyfriends and just seeing what was going to happen. Right? So these kids, that's why the video was going past the restaurant. And was just like, oh no. The kid, the second he started talking, the other guy in the overalls puts his smoothie down and just knows what reaction he's already going to have. So it's unknown as to whether or not the girlfriend kind of already knew how the kid was going to react. Let me ask you though, what are your thoughts on the dude throwing a punch, on hitting somebody for hitting on your girlfriend?
I mean, way overkill. I mean, people die, they get knocked out, they fall, hit their head. Like, it's really not worth it in any way. If this was like an ongoing harassment, maybe, like this is something that has been going on for months or weeks or whatever, of online barragement of, we're going to do this to your girlfriend type stuff, then maybe, okay. Right. But if it was just, I'd like kind of laugh, at the most, maybe a bitch slap, but probably I probably wouldn't even look at him. I probably wouldn't even make eye contact. I'd probably just step into the place and close the door behind me. Right. If the girl gave him any attention whatsoever, like, bye. I mean, I'm not, I have other girls to call.
Absolutely. So it's the difference between coming from a state of abundance and a state of scarcity. And what I'm talking about here at this, and this video in particular, this goes back to the whole like birth of a white knight. So this kid, obviously, if I'm going to deduce him psychologically, I'm sure he comes from a upbringing that has some kind of like physical abuse involved in it, where it's also wrapped into this mindset of like men protect women and all this other stuff. And, he's coming from a state of like one-itis of like what we're talking about, where it's a scarcity mindset of if I lose her, then somehow, some way, my identity is hurt. My identity is intrinsically tied to me dating this beautiful woman. Instead of it coming from a place of like, yeah, what if this girl did give this guy the time of day right in front of me? And what could I have learned from that, right? Because I would have had to have grown from it. Another thing that I come down to terms with too is, and this is kind of like what John's getting into, is, hitting another dude right off the bat, that just shows how little emotional control you really have over yourself. And this is another symptom that is intrinsic to the feminine dominated world that we live in today. Again, just recently on Twitter, talking to this one guy, actually on the thing that we're commenting on right now, this guy is going off on me about all sorts of crazy emotional shit. And it's like, dude, I didn't even say, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even say anything to like warrant you to.
It's projection.
For sure. For sure.
A lot of unstable people are projecting what they're actually feeling, and they think that you're just like them, so you must be thinking the same thing.
Or that you're the enemy because you're hurting my feelings. So hurting my feelings is equal to violence. So therefore, I need to lash out. Now, you've been fighting for how many years in your life?
Professionally, I've been 17 years.
And outside of professional?
I've had less than 5 like street fights.
But how long have you been training martial arts, I guess is the question.
Well, I mean, I started wrestling when I was about 9. So it's been over 30 years of wrestling. So hardcore competitive contact sports I've been playing for a long time.
Okay. And what lessons do you think you've taken away from having that, and how do you think it carries over to the state of masculinity today?
I think discipline and just sucking up and the idea of volunteering for suffering, early in order to avert, even worse suffering later. You kind of put yourself through the suffering doing the cardio on the bike so that you don't get tired in the fight and get a knee in the face.
Sure.
I think just that discipline, just realizing, because you see it on a macro level, you see it played out. If you don't do the work, if you don't step up and you don't get the thing done that needs to get done right now, you put it off till later. If you wait, if you put the workout till another time, if you're like, oh, I'll wait till it started next time, then when you go out to the sport, you go out to compete, like there's an immediate answer to your shortcuts. You'll be shown right away that, hey, skipping out on things or not getting the job done the best you can every single time has consequences, serious consequences if you're talking about a fight.
Crazy. One thing I know right now, especially in training jiu-jitsu, which has been the main thing that I've really focused on over the last 3.5 years. Really, I mean, jiu-jitsu has helped me tremendously overcome a lot of the issues that I had in life earlier. For instance, though, when I'm met with something that doesn't go right in my life, like for instance, when, someone passes your guard and then all of a sudden you're in their side control and they get to mount and you're just like, oh shit, I'm in a world of shit right now. And the first thing you want to do is panic. When you have someone who's just dominating you and putting all this pressure on you. Yeah, bro, exactly, right? And this is the thing that I'm seeing come out of a lot of men today is we're so full of, and I don't really want to just pinpoint it to men because women are just as terrible with this. Our society is affixed to this like anxiety, instant gratification, not having much discipline when it comes to controlling and maintaining our reactions. Mm-hmm. I just recently wrote a book. It's called Live Your Best Life in 30 Days, where I highlight a philosophy of people really honing in on the self. And what I mean by the self is making the self the center locus of control. Because that's really the only control you have in life is the control over you and your reaction and your choices.
No, I have a big poster board in my garage. If you watch my Instagram, my workouts on there, sometimes you see in the back, but it says "It's your fault" on it real big.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got some comments from people on it because they've seen that. Like, why do you have "It's your fault" written on the thing? I was like, because it is. Doesn't matter what it is, it's your fault, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who has, the only thing you have any control over is how you feel about things.
Right.
So no matter what happens to your life, if somebody breaks into your house and shoots you, how you feel about it is still your fault.
Something led up to it for sure, right?
Well, I mean, like you could be like, oh, well, my life is over because this unexplained thing happened to me. Or you can be like, oh, well, shit, I'm still alive. Ooh, that was crazy.
Right.
I got a good story out of it. Let's go on to the next thing. It's just that victim mentality versus victor mentality.
Yeah.
What's the next challenge? I conquered it. What's the next challenge?
Right.
Yeah, this thing happened to me. So what?
Right.
It made me stronger. It gave me experiences. It gave me a story. I can write a book about it now.
I'm in that boat, man. I'm telling you, 3.5 years ago, here I was in this fucking It was a nonprofit that was housing homeless veterans. And, you know, I was sitting there having to go to the VA for certain things and, you know, be around these communities of broken ass veterans. And from what I saw from a lot of those guys is most of those people wouldn't even think about trying to overcome their issues or use the issues that they're going through as a form of strength. You know what I mean? And that's one big reason right now where I don't even really try to mass appeal to veterans with PTSD, because a lot of them are still suffering and struggling because they want to be victims. And that's the biggest downfall too about our civilization at the moment is we don't reward victors anymore. I call them champions. In my book, I call them champions. I say, you know, victims struggle or victims suffer, champions struggle. You want a bit of struggle every single day of your life because struggle creates growth. And if you're not growing, you're fucking dying, right? Every single day, I create my own struggle myself too, rather than the universe coming in and saying, hey, here's your taste of struggle for you to grow. I control it. I go to the gym. I put out hard work. I put myself out there by going and approaching women or getting on YouTube and fucking creating my own YouTube channel. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always doing something in some way, shape, or form to grow and to put myself in uncomfortable situations because I'm the author of my fucking story. You know what I mean? And wrapping this back to masculinity again, I think these are very masculine traits that we're talking about. Like, if you want to talk about someone who's pretty fucking masculine, Jocko Willink, he talks about this in his book, Extreme Ownership. Like, you are the fucking creator of all your
shit. Discipline is freedom. Like, discipline is freedom. I've believed that since I was little. That was the best thing my dad ever taught me was, you know, we're creatures of habit. If you can discipline yourself to do something, it'll become your habit and you'll just do it.
Absolutely.
And it was right.
What do you think is your best form of discipline right now?
I mean, I'm just good at setting the schedule and sticking to it. You know, like, you know, this is the time I'm doing this and this is the time it happens. The only time I get stuck is when I have a shift in schedules and I have to realign and set things up, you know? So like the kids starting and stopping school, a lot of times is a shift in schedules and I have to realign some things. And that can take 2 or 3 weeks to get figured out.
Yeah, this is one big thing that I've had to grow in over the past couple of years as well. My goal in life is mastery. That's why you'll hear me say a lot of stuff like whenever it comes to like my handles or whatever. I use the word master a lot because the only thing I'm trying to master is master myself. Now, the thing with mastery doesn't mean that you're going to end up avoiding or creating a system where you get to avoid all the pitfalls. What it means is you create a system that when chaos does come into your life, you're quickly able to fall back onto your routine and say, okay, I've been here before. I've learned these lessons. I'm going to fall back onto it. Like, for instance, with my diet, right? I'll go through, it's not bad for you to go on a vacation and not eat your typical diet or whatever, right? Yeah. Some people sit there and be like, oh, that's bad for you. You shouldn't do that, or you should avoid ever doing that because I'm on this strict diet all the time. But sometimes throwing in a little chaos is good. But the trick is when you get back, you say, okay, that was just an experience, and I'm going to get right back into it. Same thing like with what you're talking about right now with, you know, your kids and going to school and stuff like that. It's, you know, once that ends, how quickly am I getting back to mastering myself in this area that I know that I need to master? Hell yeah. So I don't know if you've been aware or if you are aware of what's currently going on in the world of sports with Antonio Brown.
I am not fully aware of everything. I'm aware that he was let go and then was picked up again. And he was all over my timeline, but I wasn't really sure what's going on because I haven't paid attention to football much at all. Yeah. In the last, 9 years, 10 years, really.
I don't really pay much attention to this stuff as well. And the reason why I bring it up is only because there is a red pill story now with Antonio Brown. So as John just mentioned, Antonio Brown's been in the headlines because of, throwing some crazy tirades lately with what's going on and then some crazy stuff with contracts. But just this morning.
Didn't he do like a promo video he put up on YouTube or something too?
No idea.
I thought he was dealing with something, trying to get him out of the team, and he did like a promo video of himself till I get picked up by somebody.
That's fucking epic. Well, the reason why I'm bringing Antonio Brown up right now today is because just this morning was released a headline that Antonio Brown is now being accused of rape or sexual assault by his former female trainer. Now, I'm going to give some of the details without switching screens. What's going on here? And it's obviously very, very fishy. First and foremost, Antonio Brown is not being charged in the court of law necessarily, right? So criminal court. He's being charged under a civil suit, and he's being sued $75,000 for this alleged sexual assault / rape by his accuser. I believe her name is Michelle Brown.
So how can they do a civil suit and not have criminal charges pop up? How is that a thing?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because what's going on in the world of Me Too today is this. So he's already guilty in the feminine world of what we're talking about today, where it's completely controlled by the feminine. Our media is controlled by the feminine.
Pop culture, yeah.
Exactly. This is what's known as social tyranny. Exactly. Well, not just the accusation. It's putting the accusation out in the public. He's already guilty because, one, he's a man, and he's rich, and he's perceived as alpha in the world of, people that still kind of try to play it off that way. Mm-hmm. He's guilty.
Yeah, and right? Of course, women are not smart and can't protect or speak up for themselves. They're so
they have no moral.
Handicapped. Yeah, they're so handicapped that they can't do anything for themselves. Of course, we have to believe that. Yeah, this happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, apparently, what's happened is
it drives me crazy. These people have no self-awareness at all.
Well, it's not just that, too. And this is even something that I can't stand about the TradCon people, too, is this. The reason why this all started, the reason why women have no responsibility is because these old school-minded people really honestly tried to make it so that women didn't have moral agency. Like, this old school belief of the old school masculine is like, oh, women just aren't capable of making solid moral decisions. Like, falsely accusing people of rape. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, this is the old mindset. And I like where you're at is because it's such a stupid mindset to not understand someone from a human level of, hey, maybe these people have.
Because to believe that these things are so widespread is to believe and make that assumption that women are just that weak. Right. They're that weak that they can't do anything to protect themselves or prepare or
for sure
or speak up. That's what drives me the craziest, I think, about all of this.
Well, the problem too, John, is this. People don't understand the dynamics of where women are strong and where men are strong. Men are strong in the world of physicality. Women are strong in the world of social sphere, of social influence, of all of this. Women fight wars in the social circles. Men fight wars physically. So this old school mindset is that women are weak because we belong to just a strictly masculine physical world.
But now men, we're fighting the war with bows and arrows, and women have nuclear weapons.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're fucking crushing it. So all this girl has to do is just go online and be like, Antonio Brown raped me. And everyone, especially with this fucking crazy, stupid idea that believe all women is a thing, right? These feminists are trying to make that a thing where, like, hey, we can literally just have a lynch mob for any single accusation. The woman is to be believed and the men aren't. Dude, what a fucking precedent that is, right? Like that, I mentioned the phrase social tyranny, and that's what this is it is literally a mob mentality where you can literally make any accusation you want, and guess what? You're believed because you have a fucking vagina. Yep. Crazy. So that's what's going on here. Man. Oh, dude, that's what's going on here too. Is
victim culture, outrage culture. I don't know. I think there's been some shifts. I think the middle is getting larger. But the far crazies are gonna hold on and be crazier up until the very end.
Oh, well, the problem too, again, and like we're talking about, because it is a feminine dominated social space. Anything that's extreme or fringe or, feeling based or, whatever will catch the news, right? Because women, this is the thing that people don't understand, and this is what we can tie into game as well. one thing that men don't understand is that women live their life based off of like emotional junk food, right? What women want, what women truly want out of a relationship is the peaks and valleys. They want spikes. You need to give them spikes throughout the day, throughout the relationship. The second anything turns bland and just fucking
you can't
stagnant.
Be steady, Freddie. Don't bore them. You can piss them off, but you can't bore them.
Yeah, and pissing them off works really fucking well. Women love to get pissed off. They need that emotional, I'm feeling things in order to feel like they're in existence. So that's what our news media is based off of now. And these kinds of accusations just being fucking plunged in there, number one, serves their purpose, right? Of being able to kind of like overtake the power structures. And then two, they get that hit, right? They get that hit of like, ooh, there's important things going on in the world. Ooh, I'm important because I'm feeling things. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the feeling of knowing things that other people don't know.
That's true.
And then you get the virtual signal type morality. I'm better than people because I have these beliefs.
Yeah. That's insane. What a fucking crazy point in time we're at. I mean,
it's glorious,
no one could have.
But
I agree.
It's madness at the same time.
Well, it's just like with the nuclear weapon, right? The first thing we had to do was fucking use it. You know what I'm saying? And then we're like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah, okay, so it works. Yeah.
Like,
maybe
holy
let's
shit.
not do that again.
Maybe we need to tamp that down a little bit, right? And not go and fucking decimate an entire country with it. But that's kind of where social media is right now. Is we need, like with any fucking tool that's ever created, we need to learn, like number one, it's always weaponized first. It's always used to hurt. And then we're like, oh my God, we need to like tamp that back. Okay. So that's kind of in the same realm of where we're at right now, I think. But I don't know how we can really use social media in the future for good, right? Because right now it's just
social media is a tool, and just like a hammer, you can build a house or you can hit yourself in the face with it. So
right, for sure.
We connected through social media. I've made a lot of really strong connections through social media. I had someone help me put a book together through social media and apps, and so I mean, it all depends on how you use it. If you're just consuming garbage, well, you're gonna probably become a garbage person.
Hey, what's the name of your book again? I have it in. I have a photo of it in the bottom corner right now, but.
Failing Upward, Death by Ego, because it's supposed to be a series of books. I'm sharing my journals from over the years, and I still don't know how it's going to end. I don't know if I'm going to fail upward or if I'm going to die because of my ego.
Just keep going. Just keep going, man. Why not?
Just keep going.
You know, in my experiences with psychedelic use, which has been the biggest thing to teach me about my ego, when I first started taking the first one that I started using actually was cannabis, and I was eating a lot of it. And you get fucking crazy high off of eating.
Yeah,
weed,
you
man.
can. I was making my own peanut butter for a while. I've been sampling it myself. I poisoned myself a few times.
Crazy, dude. I would have the gnarliest out of anything I've ever done. Believe it or not, I would have the gnarliest hallucinations off of just massive doses of cannabis.
So I would just pass out for like a day and a half.
Oh no, not me. I would be wide awake talking to fucking aliens and shit. It was crazy. Anyway, yeah, it was fucking nuts.
That's great.
I loved it until I went a little crazy. But anyway, with that said, through that, what I tried to do was kill my ego, right? Because before that, I was all egocentric. And the thing that I learned about the ego through everything was you need the ego, number one. Yeah. You need an ego. But the problem...
You're going to get pushed around and bullied.
Well, not just that, you actually die. If you don't have an ego, you don't exist. It's part of consciousness, believe it or not. It's part of your identity. Now, the next thing, though, is this. So the way that I try to organize my mentality now is understanding certain things in life, right? There's certain archetypes, certain people, certain things in your life that are like part of what I call your boardroom. And before, and this is what I call my ego now, my ego was like the general. I'm the president, right, of me. I'm the president of me. My ego is the general. And the general before had a coup. And he was in charge completely. If that makes any sense. So I was the president. I was in jail. The general was in charge. And he was able to do whatever the general wanted to do. So it was like a military dictatorship kind of deal. And then once I took these psychotropic drugs, right? Soon enough, like I killed the ego. And I was like, oh shit, wait, I need the ego back. And now what I realize is that my ego is a general, but he's on my board of directors, And when I need to have a precision military strike or when we need to go and do whatever, I'll contact the general, but I'm the one that's in charge of all of it now. Does it make any sense? Like me having a healthy perspective and a healthy balance in life, I'm the president, I'm the CEO, and I'm in charge. The ego's not in charge. Other people on my board of directors, they're not in charge, but their voices and their archetypes that are used at certain points of my life when I need them, and I go to them for help. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I need all of them in order to keep the whole entire system operating. Crazy, huh?
No. I like to think of my ego as a sword that I keep sheathed.
Yeah.
And
that's
you
perfect.
know, I have it to use if I need it.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't want to run around swinging a sword around
constantly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's only going to get you into trouble. So
Yeah.
I'll keep it in a sheath, and when time comes, right, you know, it's time to slay the chick. It's time to slay the bully, get the job done, go to battle. Then I'll pull out the ego and get the thing done. But
for sure,
when I don't need to fight, I can put it
Guess
away.
what? It's right back in the sheath. Exactly.
See, and part of
it's a fucking tool. It's a tool.
I was starting to writing that book. I was going through the divorce process, so I was still trying to save things. So I was putting a lot of blame on myself. I wasn't able to pull away and look at the situation in third person yet. So, you know, there's a lot of me thinking about my ego being negative when really I'm looking at it now as it was actually very positive. And that ego kind of pulled me through a lot of bad and tough spots because I wouldn't allow myself to fail because of my ego.
I was in that boat before too, man.
You know,
I learned a lot of lessons.
There was a time with my career where, you know, losing money, losing some fights, like I could have really, you know, given up. You know, but it was my ego that pulled me through.
For sure. Same boat too, man. Here I was, you know, I'm a special operations Marine before 9.5 years, survived combat, like some of the craziest combat the Marine Corps seen in some time. Running my CrossFit gym and fucking just crushing it in CrossFit, probably one of the top level CrossFitters and, well, you know, the gym and all that other stuff in Southern California, which is big. And then here I am being faced with failure. And I was not comfortable with failure whatsoever. My identity was intrinsically tied to not failing. So, you know, the option comes in, you know, here I am homeless. I don't have anything. I lost all my friends. I lost all my fucking possessions that made up my ego. And it's like, well, what fucking use are you? Fucking go over there, rack that fucking pistol, dude, and fucking splatter your brains all over the fucking wall. You know what I'm saying? And in that moment, I was like, fuck no. No, I'm rewriting my story. I had a crazy hallucination during that point.
I'm not going out like that.
Fuck no, dude. Absolutely not.
That's where I went and did my first professional fight. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I lost. And I was like, oh, well, I tried it. And then at the course of the night, I was like, no, you're not going out like that. No. Through the whole night, I just kept having that just kept playing through my head. And I was like, all right. So I made contacts and made some network friends while at that fight. And then, you know, the rest is history.
It's fucking insane, man. Just the fact that you can
make that choice.
You know, and the crazy part too is here we are right now. We're just now starting this. I can feel it. I can feel the tide right now. It's just like catching the wave right at the perfect time. You know, I can feel this. I can feel what we're doing. The fact that we have this mindset of whatever, and that's going to build. You know, a lot of people right now might not look at us. I don't have the car that I necessarily want, or the, you know, the bank account that I necessarily want, or the harem of women that I necessarily want. I have pretty good stuff. I'm happy, and that's okay. But, you know, the story's not over yet. The story's nowhere near over. Fuck yeah, dude. Absolutely. And that's the journey. You know, that's one thing that I want to talk to people about right now. Hey guys, if you guys are listening and you like this content, please do subscribe, follow Jon, follow his YouTube channel. We have
official Jon Fitch on YouTube.
Hell yeah, official Jon Fitch. Hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel as well. We're probably going to end up creating our own channel. Yeah, smash the bell. Right? Reciprocate some of this energy that we're given by giving it back. Share it with some friends. I don't know if you're aware of this. I just sent you the link a little bit ago. But, you know, Gamergate was one of the biggest things that really started to set off the whole Me Too movement and all this other stuff.
a lot of people say that the presidential election and Trump getting elected was all thanks to Gamergate.
Really? That's
So
insane. Because they're just kind of fed
mean,
up with this stuff, or what?
something like that. Like it was something that was bubbling up. All the stuff that's been bubbling up everywhere, and they think that this Gamergate was kind of like the first thing to break that kind of relieved some of the pressure. Right? The PC Nazis keeping everything boxed up, right? Just kept building pressure, and eventually it popped through. And some people are saying it's this Gamergate thing. And I got to tell you, I don't really know anything about it because this is just so boring.
Yeah.
It's all terribly boring. The people involved are terribly boring. The people covering it are terribly boring. I clicked the link, and there was a video of some guy who looked like Seth Rogen, and I couldn't tell if he was going to talk about this thing or Star Wars. And I'm not interested. I just cannot. And I forget sometimes that there's this whole community of people, like a lot of people. It's a big community of people who they're like grown children.
Right. Not being initiated
fast,
in manhood.
Their whole bodies are just jelly.
Right.
Like no muscle tone anywhere on their body. Like
right. Probably never touched a girl or kissed a girl in their life.
Amorphous bodies. You couldn't tell man from woman. And all they do is play video games all day, and they're on Reddit. I call them Redditards. It's wild to me. It's wild. That's just I'm choosing to live my life like this.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So the reason, though, I brought up the link is because the person, I guess, the main individual that really started off the whole Gamergate thing, her name is Zoe Quinn, big time feminist. I guess she works within the gaming world and all this stuff. Don't really know about much of it, but she's back. She, again, made another accusation on Twitter with a long thread accusing another guy within the gaming world, a CEO of a certain fucking gaming company, of sexual assault. She laid out some crazy long details about certain things that he did to her. Of course, there's no police report or anything like that.
It wasn't just sexual assault. It was like kidnapping.
And
like
fucking,
like keeping her hostage in a house. Like wild. Like that's just insanely wild, like accusation. Not like, oh, we were drunk and I told him not to touch me.
Yeah,
and
don't finger my asshole. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he took the condom off and I didn't notice.
Oh my god.
Like that. I mean, he kept me hostage. I was like his sex slave, like type stuff. That's
wild
insane.
shit. Wild shit. Now, just to give people the reason why I'm bringing this up, the gentleman who was accused, his name is Alec
Holoka.
Alec Holoka. He, I believe, 2 to 3 days after her accusation, killed himself. He hung himself in his room. And that's something that we need to fucking talk about here because, male pain within a civilization, within our society today, doesn't matter.
It never has. Men are disposable.
Men are disposable.
If you're not liked, you're useful or you're not useful. And
it's crazy.
You don't have to look any further than homeless people in our country. Look at a homeless man.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Nobody's
There's people out there that'll virtue signal and like, oh, I feed the homeless, but they don't really fucking care about the cause, the emotional impact behind why this person or the mental reason behind why. Now, this guy, Alec, has a background of depression and all this other stuff and having some mental instabilities and certain things. So that was one of the reasons why some people were like, it could be possible that he did do this. But this article that I'm just now referencing, if you guys want to look it up, actually, let me flip to the screen real quick that you guys can possibly see this. Bounding into comics, Marvel Comics writer Zoe Quinn's allegations against Alec Holoka called into question by new evidence of inconsistencies of initial claims. What this is saying is that chick was not telling the truth. If you really break it down, if you look at all this stuff, it's broken down to the fact that there's some serious inconsistencies.
There's other witnesses, Twitter posts, social media posts, all kinds of other stuff that contradict all of the things she said.
It's insane,
it's pretty obvious,
dude.
She 100% made up, fabricated the whole thing, which leads me to believe that she's probably some kind of psychopath.
Yes.
She's at least BPD.
She is dark triad to the fullest extent.
Yeah,
100%.
Dark triad BPD.
Yeah,
just red flags.
This is the fucking second time in 2 years she's done this, bro. The second time. And this time it's resulted in somebody fucking killing themselves.
This is the second time in 2 years she's gotten caught.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right? This
Dude,
is the second time in 2 years she's gotten caught. That's probably
this is a fucking public service announcement to all men out there. Do not engage in any type of fucking sexual activity with Zoe Quinn. Do not fucking think about dating her. Don't be in a room alone with her. Do not fucking ever even fucking like this. If you even think about, man, maybe I should put my dick in that. Like, go go jerk off. Zoe Quinn is excommunicated in the fucking dating world.
Her dick card is revoked.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so we have revoked Zoe
Quinn's fucking dick card.
Do not let her cash in,
dude. And John, I swear to God, even if fucking everyone in the world heard this message right now, some fucking stupid asshole will still go and fuck her, and they will subject themselves.
She's the one.
You're generalizing.
You don't understand her. You just don't get her.
She needs love. She needs love to heal her. That's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna fix her with love.
It takes two people in a relationship.
Oh my God, dude. Fuck me. Stupid fuck. Some stupid idiot's gonna walk into that slaughterhouse. Actually, probably numerous. And what the fuck? Did you see the photo of this bitch, dude? Did you see the photo?
There are 15 guys. There are 15 guys in her DMs right now. Talking about right now. They're white knighting and they can't wait to take her out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's disgusting. The fact that people can't see it is just, oh man, it's mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. And I don't know if you looked at the photo of her. You see what she looks like?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't.
Oh my God! I just had to look.
Put on the video games. Put on the video games, guys. I'm speaking from experience too. I was a 10-year video game addict. I played 4 to 8 hours a day.
No way.
I did, but I made excuses that I was making money and training and fighting, so
yeah,
it was okay. But it wasn't because like I missed out on like real life relationships and friendships and stuff. I probably could have spent more time talking to family and people. I could have been studying and building a business. I could have a lot more money and, a lot more success if I wouldn't have wasted my time playing video games and watching porn for probably that 10 years.
Yeah, pretending. That's the thing is you build an avatar in order for you to feel that success because you don't feel like you can do it in the real world. It is complete and utter avoidance. 100%.
It's so powerful. Even I was addicted to it, and I was still living. I was doing real life adventures. Like I was living an amazing life. I was traveling around, fighting people, making 6 figures. I had a beautiful girlfriend that I later married because we were together 15 years total.
Shit.
So like and I bet those video games probably put some kind of a drain a little bit on the relationship too, because if I was building a business and making...
Well, shit, dude. I know you got to get going here in a little bit. I want to try to keep this at about an hour anyway.
To jiu-jitsu.
Hell yeah, man. All right, everybody. So, hey, here's the deal. Being part of the Red Pill community, I got to support and really help other people out. I've just come across a pretty phenomenal course run by no other than Modern Life Jon. If you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about body language, you got to understand that what women say and what women do are completely the opposite. What women say is not what she's actually going to do. But the thing is, the biggest tell that a woman gives you is through her nonverbal communication. It is through her body language. And if you become a master poker player of understanding a woman's body language, you will understand the woman. This is something that people do not understand. It is literally the black book of understanding women and being able to kind of get your way. So Jon has come out with a course. It's called Body Language Mastery. You can find his course at modernlifedating.com/body language. Please do visit his website if you're interested in getting in. It's opening up here pretty soon for you to be able to actually attend, and attendance is capped at a certain rate. So please do, before September 27th, make your way over to modernlifedating.com/body language to become a part of that course. I myself am an online dating guru, as is my man right here, Jon. I actually have recorded several hours of a course called Online Dating Mastery. If you're interested in something like that, it is over 4.5 hours of content that'll teach you how to actually set up your profile, get the right mindset, say the right things, do the right things, have the right communications via text, and how to set up your date in order to get it back to your place. I myself personally have slept with over 200 women. Over the last couple months, I have been going on 4 to 5 dates weekly, some of them back to back in one day, with an average close rate of about 80%. 80% close. And if you guys don't know what I mean by close, that means slide in between the legs, baby. You know what I'm saying? So if that's something you guys are interested in doing, I've broken it down to enable you to get to those levels of percentages as well. And of course, all of those were consenting females that wanted it and begged me for it. So if you'd like something like that, please do give me an email at agodofmen@gmail.com. That is agodofmen. Or you can contact me on Twitter or Instagram at Corey Capella, CoreyCapella. Please do that. John, go ahead. Sign off real quick with what you got.
Yeah, I can be reached at johnfish.net at Gmail is the email. You can follow my stuff on YouTube, Official John Fitch. I do usually a daily live stream. I do got a lot of guys come in, talk about topical stuff, talk about fight stuff, talk about relationship stuff, talk about stuff in the news. Really anything goes. I have a podcast with Chris Tinkle, Fitch and Tinkle Smash Everything. We talk about various things. We also do watch-alongs where we watch things like Bloodsport, and we have a podcast along with it to talk about facts and hidden secrets about the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I can be reached for seminars. I teach Fitch Smash, which is my martial arts system. Go from zero to fight ready faster than any other system available. It's for MMA or self-defense. Also offer lessons on Patreon, patreon.com/John Fitch. You can check me out there. I started a new tier. I'm going to be putting up more blog content, and I'm just getting it started and trying to let the guys who are subscribing help guide where I'm taking some of this stuff.
Perfect.
So just reach out and we'll talk. Also, I will be. I'll start promoting now. It's not 100% firm, but I should be in San Diego, November 2nd. I think down at the arena, doing a Fitch Smash seminar.
Hell yeah!
So hopefully we'll do something when I'm down there. Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Also,
I'm in. Now, gentlemen, here's one big thing. I know a lot of you guys probably don't like the sales pitches whatsoever, but this is the biggest thing that I've started to learn in life, is that without you guys, without me actually helping other content creators as well, I've opened up my wallet numerous times when I've come across people that I absolutely love and adore, and I want them to grow. I donated to Donovan, I've donated to Jon, I've donated to Rollo, I've donated to all these guys, and I've taken my wallet out and I've invested in some of their products that they promote. Do the same. That's the only way that you're going to get better. It wasn't until I started to invest money into my growth in game and style and seduction and all these other things that I started to see the results that I wanted to. If you're sitting at home and you're sitting there guarding your wallet like it's going to grow money and it's going to actually fucking create the things in your life that you think, you're not doing it right. Anytime you invest is when money grows and you see the opportunity. So do us a favor, hit us up on anything that might have interested you. And don't feel afraid to actually invest into something that you might want to become. That's the only way you grow. Now, the other thing is this, like I said at the beginning, it was probably midway through. If you like what you're hearing today, it's free, right? If you want to take the cheap way out, share, subscribe, and share with your friends and say, hey, man, these two dudes are rocking and rolling on the internet. You guys got to hear what they have to say. So with that said, hey, thanks for joining us today on Red Pill Smash Bros. I'm Corey, and this is John, and we're out of here. Take care, everybody.
All right. Take it easy, guys.